Welcome to the program. I'm Roby Brock. We appreciate you tuning in. As part of our series exploring some of the issues you can expect to hear much about in the upcoming regular session of the 94th General Assembly, we're joined by Jerry Cox today. He is the founder and president of the Family Council. Good to see you.
It's always a pleasure, Roby.
Yeah, thank you for being
here. Thank you.
All right, you got a few things on your plate. This
I've got the plate right here, you know.
Well, let me direct where the plate we're going to eat off of it right there. Let's begin first with the fact that the Dobbs decision in the middle of this last summer really impacted and changed the abortion debate nationally as well as in Arkansas. Arkansas, a pretty firmly pro-life state.
Well, it is.
What might we see considered in that realm in the January session?
Well, and just to kind of bring us up to date, right now abortion is mostly illegal in Arkansas except to save the life of the mother. So that's where we are right now. I think you may see some legislation in the area of dealing with organizations that get paid to refer people for abortions, aiding and abetting abortions for some kind of compensation or a kickback from an abortion facility somewhere out of state. I think you may see some legislation in that area. That may be about it because it's pretty much all been taken care of.
You don't think there will be any push to try to add additional exemptions in there for rape and incest?
I think there could be, but I don't believe they have the votes to do that right now. I think a lot of Republicans don't want to have to deal with that in a primary. And so you'll see some people probably raise that issue, but I don't think the votes are there to add exceptions.
Let's talk about human trafficking, another life issue I think that people don't always necessarily put into that category, but we obviously have a human trafficking problem nationally, but what do you think there might be? There's been some things done in Arkansas already. There's an appetite, I think, to do more.
Oh, I think there is. I've talked to lawmakers who plan to introduce legislation. Arkansas right now, I'm told, gets an F when it comes to our grade and how we deal with human trafficking. So obviously we've got some catching up to do with the states around us. There was a
what do you think that we're lacking?
Well, for one thing, I think we could extend the statute of limitation for individuals that are a part of human trafficking so that they don't get off by saying, hey, that happened a long time ago. And that could be true with criminal or civil, either one. These hotel chains that just look the other way and say, hey, it's not my problem. What goes on in our buildings, I think they need to be held accountable more. And so I think you'll see some legislation like that, but I think, everything's on the table right now as far as regulating that. There is no sympathy for human traffickers among the lawmakers.
Yeah, and that's bipartisan.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've seen a lot of collective work.
I expect those bills to pass, unanimously almost.
Yeah. What else you got on
the plate here, there's also pregnancy center funding. The governor during the budget session pulled $1 million out of one of his funds and made that money available for pregnancy help organizations, and that's adoption, foster care, organizations that help women with unwanted pregnancies. And that money is being allocated right now, and so I think there will be a push to maybe double that amount because let's face it, if we're going to make abortion mostly illegal in Arkansas, then it's time to step up and help women who are in an unplanned or unwanted pregnancy.
Is $2 million enough?
Well, it's probably not enough in the long run, but I think right now it's enough for these organizations to get accustomed to receiving grants from the state and knowing how to use that money. I think it'd be a mistake to dump $10 million suddenly on these organizations when they've never received a grant maybe from the state. And so I think working our way up would be good. I think $5 million would be a really good goal.
Are these organizations, are they religious in nature? And then do you get into some church and state separation?
Well,
and that government funded money going to
that came up during the debate, during the budget session. And there's a real simple answer to that. You apply for the money to do certain things for women with an unplanned pregnancy. It's not for a Bible study. It's not to drive them to church, but it's to buy diapers. Diapers aren't religious. Baby formula, help them with housing and things like that. So all you do is just write the grant in such a way that you can only use the money for things that are not religious. It's real simple.
Yeah. I have heard some conversation that there may be a push to bring back a debate from years ago over granny cams in nursing homes. Is that on? Are you hearing that as well?
I'm hearing that from myself.
Oh, are you? Okay. Is it on the plate there?
Well, it's sort of on the plate. It's over here on the side. It's on the side of the plate. See, here's the thing. We all do better when there's accountability. And we all know that there are situations with our long-term care facilities where people just don't get treated the way they should. Most of our facilities are real good, but there's always the exception out there. And so I think we could do what maybe some other states have done, is create a reasonable law that would allow a family to put a camera in the room, not to spy on the roommate and not to make it available online for hackers and all that. There's a bunch of questions to answer with that, but at the end of the day, these people are the most vulnerable in our society, and if we can find a way to make them protected more, I'm for it.
Yeah.
And so I think we need to look into it.
Kind of on the, I guess, the culture war front here. I think you get to you've got a role in that. We have also seen a lot in this last year, in particular, of questions about things going on from school board direction and teachers in classrooms, as well as libraries, public libraries.
Right.
What do you think is going to be, I guess, brought forward in that session?
We're getting a lot of reports from Jonesboro and other places. In fact, it got so bad in Jonesboro, the voters up there cut the millage for the library because they were, according to the folks up there, they had obscene material up there and it was available to children even, I'm told. And so they cut the funding for their library, but there's a broader problem here where years ago when the obscenity statute was written, librarians were exempted because people pictured the librarian as being your grandmother. You know, it's like grandma would never do anything like that, but libraries have changed now. And so I don't know if we'll see librarians made subject to the obscenity statute or not, but I think the legislature does have an appetite to say, listen, these are publicly funded institutions. You should not have material in there that's so bad you can't show it on TV.
Isn't that the state getting into local control, though?
It is.
That's that, with Republican supermajorities up there, I mean, that's the party of local control, and they seem to not always fall into that realm.
You know, Roby, you know, and I do too, we talk about local control when it serves our purposes, and then we jettison local control when it doesn't.
I just wanted the honesty of that statement. You said it, so
it's true, though, isn't it?
All right, we got to wrap it up there. Jerry Cox with Family Council.
Glad
Always
to
good
be
to visit
here.
with you.
Yeah.
I will see you a lot in the corridors up there. I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about.
I'm sure we will. It'll be fun.
All right. When we come back, we'll talk with Laura Kellums from Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. Stay tuned.